To the left, 232. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unlock. Order. The clerk will now proceed to read the orders of the day.
Care recommitted bill as amended in the Public Bill Committee to be considered.
Thank you. Before the House embarks on the bill, it may help if I deal with a matter which has been raised with me on the 715 virtually identical government amendments changing the phrase commissioning consortia to clinical commissioning groups. These are the fourth group on today's selection list. It has never been the practice of the House or its committees to allow a single global amendment to make a series of identical or very similar amendments. The rule that any substantive change to the text of a bill must be done by an amendment is designed for the protection of the rights of all members and the integrity of the legislative process. I do understand that in this case it leads to a particularly bulky amendment paper. The fact that a practice is long-standing does not, in my view, mean that it is sacrosanct. Any honourable member who wishes is, of course, free to ask the Procedure Committee to inquire into this matter. I hope that that is helpful. I should also inform the House that Amendment 781, which is printed on page 2985, should appear on page 3051, and Amendments 945 and 946, which are printed on page 3138, should appear on page 3068. That has no material effect on today's proceedings, but I know that the House would have wanted me to share those crucial nuggets of information with it. Point of order, Sir Peter Bottomley.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. The House will have noted your comments about the repetitive amendment. Are we to take it that we have to go through quite a lengthy procedural procedure to be able to just list the places where the words would be substituted? Is it not possible, or in your power, or in the leader of the House's power, to make the change without having to go through weeks and weeks of committees and other consideration? I don't necessarily need an answer now, but that's consideration which I thought would be a thing that a reforming speaker might have found the solution to.
Well, I think I have found a very satisfactory way forward, which should appease the honourable gentleman and perhaps mollify him, put him in a better frame of mind. There will be a grouping. If the honourable gentleman is inquiring of me whether a separate division will be required to give effect, he's shaking his head from a sedentary position to indicate that that's not the burden of his proposition, in which case I'm not sure what is. I can nevertheless assure him that no separate division will be required. I think that at the end of our proceedings, the honourable member will be in the good humour to which we know he is accustomed. Point of order, Sir Peter Bottomley.
The point was the point that you, Mr. Speaker, have made, which is that this amendment has to be repeated with different pages and lines. I suggest that the amendment might put down, and then that you have a list of the pages and lines where it was applied.
And what I am saying is what I have already said, which is that there is no provision for a global amendment. An amendment requires to be made in each case. That does not entail a separate division, or what the honourable gentleman in his first point of order with some trepidation described as a lengthy procedure. There will be no requirement for a lengthy procedure. Ministers seem sanguine, so am I, so I think should be the House. Perhaps we can now proceed to the business before us, beginning with Government New Clause 2 and the substantial range of Government New Clauses, other amendments with which it has been grouped. To move Government New Clause 2, I call the Secretary of State for Health, Mr. Andrew Lansley.
Yeah.